Danny Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined once again by KALLE SAUERLAND. I'll move a bit closer to the camera if you want.
About superpowers, I've just seen you move from there to there in about 30, bloody hell.
They do call me the Flash.
What? That was a real fast shuffle.
I'm the Flash, mate. Just usually for other reasons.
It's the flexing shuffle. It's the flexing shuffle.
You'll have to come to the gym one day. I'll show you it in full motion.
Yeah, I done my back yesterday in the gym deadlifting, so I did train this morning stupidly, but yeah, so I'll leave the gym for a while.
Listen to the macho man. I've done my back deadlifting. Tell everyone how much you were deadlifting.
Just about 380 pounds. But I'd had a long night. My daughter woke me up at 3:15, wanted to play, so I had about 2 hours kip, so that's why I did the injury. So never train on a meagre night's sleep.
Those long nights hit a bit differently once you've had kids, don't they?
Absolutely, they certainly do. That's why I've had to reduce my outgoing evenings dramatically since fatherhood.
Glad to hear it for the sake of your family. Let me just tell you, first of all, before I start in on the challenging questions, I have to hit you with some breaking news. Luton, it's not in London.
Well, listen, Dan, I'm from North London.
Yeah.
I grew up in North London. So I'm telling you that when you go on EasyJet and you book London, right? It comes up as London Luton. So go speak to Stelios. He's gone, hasn't he? He sold it, didn't he? Yeah, no. Well,
Like I've got Stelios on speed dial anyway, but yeah. Regardless of it's...
You're right. Watford Gap. Is it north of the Watford Gap? Is it north of the Watford Gap? It is technically, isn't it?
I don't know if it technically is, but that's what the state
Yeah, the north. Yeah, of course. I know the same.
Anyway, regardless of whether it is a London derby or not... Yeah, regardless of it being a London derby or not, it's not. However, it is a cracking fight, 50-50 on paper. What's going to make the difference in favour of your man on Friday night, Linus Udofia?
Is Battersea London? It's called Battersea these days. Are you aware of that? No, I'm joking. I lived in Battersea for a few months. Anyways, so what was the question? Why is Linus going to win? Well, listen, I thought I was I'm trying to obviously be partial up there, but yeah, no, I just think that Linus. It gives me a tough fight. So, but let me tell you what, I think he's got that extra power. I think the extra power, and I just feel he's fresher. That's my feeling, and I hope it's right because it's a split and fight, and sometimes you need that little bit of luck as well on the night, and you don't end up at that level in your career. So the level that he's boxing out on Friday, he will learn in that. Both of them will learn in that fight. Making an obvious point here, I know, but I'm trying to get somewhere with it. But it's the springboard to the world, and this fight leads to 100% of world rankings with the big federations, with the BO, the BC, the IBF, the WBA. He'll go straight into the top 15 of the world rankings, and with that, you immediately put yourself in a position that you could get a call tomorrow, be called for a voluntary shot. So. Not saying we do that, but it makes it interesting. When we're talking about, at the moment a lot about the middleweight situation with Eubank and, Golovkin and all the different fights going, Charlo. So you see the sort of weight class it is right now. It's red hot. Yeah, Danny Dignam's got his chance against Jacopai. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, that's the surname. I haven't got that far with it. How did you say it? That's very impressive. No, so Janapai is the first name. I'm sticking with that. But he looks impressive. But no one really knows much about him. But he's like, was he 11-0? Kazakh sort of sounds scary. Then you look at the KO ratio, and it's not that scary. So don't really know much about him. Dignam, I've known from domestic fights. I've seen a lot of tapes of him, but. I think it's an interesting fight. That's now been upgraded, I believe, to the full. Yeah, but it will be upgraded. It will be upgraded. And so it's a red hot division. So Linus or Denzel will on Friday night live on Channel 5 be basically auditioning for that spot, if you like. So what better platform than on free-to-air television, which is in our DNA. As formerly Team Sauerland, now Wasserman Boxing, we've done it for the last 30-odd years. In fact, a bit longer than that. Not me personally, that was the old man. I am a little younger than that. I know, don't look at it today. But no, but you know, we've done shows in Germany with 22 million viewers. Still have the viewing record of all sports in Germany with boxing. That's where we want to get to. Friday night is the start of that.
And let me ask you, there's been some criticism recently of BOXXER and Sky Sports for coming so fast out the traps with their partnership. They had Kell Brook, Eubank Williams, and it's tailed off a little bit. There's obviously still shows going on, but it's not...
Was a co-promotion with us, yeah?
Of course, but yeah. But what I was going to ask you is that you're coming out of the blocks pretty quick for terrestrial TV. You've got Josh Kelly's comeback, you've got Eubank Dodd and the great main event. Is there a concern that you might be setting the bar too high?
I'd rather set the bar high than low, but no. I mean, these names, provided they win or are in good fights, I'm not going to throw them out because they lose a close fight, but that forms for me the nucleus of Channel 5 boxing, and the key is consistency and to repeat them. So I hear what you're saying, but let's not forget Amir Khan wasn't signed to Sky or BOXXER. Kell Brook wasn't. Even if he was, he's retired. Eubank is signed to us, and we have a deal with BOXXER and Sky. And Liam Williams isn't signed to them either. And so it's a bit different. They put together, and it was a fantastic February, and I'm sure they're going to put together some great cards as well. So I hear the question, but as a fan, Dan, you still got to be happy with that February, and of course it was big, and I understand why they did it, to pack a month like that. It's a statement, It's the same way that we make a statement on Friday with the pack card. The slight difference is they're all signed to us, and they'll continue to be signed to us, and we'll continue to develop that talent. The exciting thing, I don't need to tell you this, you've been around the block too many times, but we don't know. We don't know who wins on Friday night, and that's where we want to be. Or do you want to be going to the O2 on Friday night and thinking, well, we know who's going to win all 9 fights tonight, so actually I'll do this from home, and I'll get Keller on a Zoom afterwards to tell us how great they all...
Doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. Now you're taking it.
You'll take that, eh? No.
I'll take the sleep. I don't want meager sleep.
But you're now a superstar presenter now. But for the trade fan, he wants to turn up and he wants 50-50s. I haven't done a press conference like that where we've had 4 sort of main event presses, or almost within the space of 30 minutes. It was like speed dating, which I haven't done either. So don't pull me up on that one ever. But is it good for boxing? Of course it fucking is. This is fantastic. It's live, it's free to air. Hopefully we'll catch some new fans in the net, and that's what we want to do. We want to be growing the sport, and that's positive stuff.
Any news on where fans will be able to watch the undercard?
Yes, we're just working on the contracts on it, so it will be out later today, this evening, but it will definitely be live, free and available for everyone to see.
Good stuff. Now, switching away from this card, I know you've probably been asked about this already today. Kell Brook announced his retirement over the weekend. He was in negotiations for a fight with Eubank Jr, who you promote. What's the future now for Eubank without Brook, and disappointed that couldn't come off?
Well, first of all, I have to say congratulations, Kell Brook, on a fantastic career. A fighter who's fought everyone around him. He even went up weights to fight people, and I think he was the first man who shook Golovkin, and coming up 2 weights. I've just got so much respect for him as a fighter, and I wish him all the best in retirement. Now we come to the negotiation, but I don't put Kell in this discussion because I never spoke to Kell, not one single time. the talks were led through Sky and BOXXER, and BOXXER came back to us with weights, and I said, nice, but let's talk Turkey, Deniros, whatever you want to call it, Wonga, Benjamins, pound notes, whatever you want to call it, but like weights, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so but I thought, let's go down that path, right? And we weren't in a rush to get things made either, because Junior did have a slight hand injury after the fight with Williams, so I thought, okay, well, let's get the weights sorted. That, you know, I understand, but it just felt a bit weird, like in 2 decades and a half of promoting boxing and promoting some big fights. I'd never done it that way before. And you talk money first, and then you finalise the details on it. And we took a month going back and forth on weights. So I don't know who we were speaking to.
Surely you do know who you were speaking to.
Yeah, I mean, we were, yeah.
Who were you speaking to?
No, well, I said that before. So we were speaking via BOXXER. I don't know who they. Let's say I don't know who they were then speaking to. So yeah, I mean, do I feel dicked around? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we talked 2 months on weights and rehydration clauses, and at what time you're rehydrated, and it's got to be by 5 p.m. and it's got to be only this much, and I'm going, no, it's got to be 6 p.m. and you know, like right, are we going to talk money or not? And dates, you know, and venues, you know, but yeah, you know.
Did it ever get to that stage?
Yeah, we got some monies. I think the monies were workable. We never really got to venues because we didn't really care. Eubank don't really care which venue it is, so we were happy to go Bramall Lane, Manchester. I think Manchester was one we liked, and I think they liked as well. But you know, hey, it's what it is. Like I said, nothing to do with Kell Brook. I keep him totally out of this. I think he's, you know, once again, such a great champion. I don't want to bring him into it. But yeah, to tarnish it. So I don't want to be that at all, please. So no comments about that. But at the same time, it was weird. Luckily, there's a few other plans that are already advanced, and you know, like I said, it's a lot of options at the weight. What's frustrating is the belt situation. We'll be quite clear on that, because when's you going to fight a real champion, and you know, this, that, and the other. That's great. So shall we analyse it? You got the IBF and the WBA, the proper belts, with Golovkin. Golovkin is signed to fight Canelo, who has probably a 3-4 week option now, whether he's going to take the Golovkin fight or the Bivol rematch. So what can I do there? I'll tell you what I can do there. Absolutely nothing. Right, okay. You've got WBC, you got Charlo fighting Seletsky. Yeah, Seletsky. Okay, that's a good one. I know him quite well. He beat one of our guys a few years ago, Cool Kai. Yeah, so I think it's Seletsky. I think it was Seletsky. Yeah. And then you've got the BO, which is contested now by, as we said, Janapai against Dignam. So, which is in 2 weeks' time. So those are the belts. Then you've got domestic ones, which we've talked about in the past, Conor Benn, and you've got, we had a discussion regarding yesterday. Then you've got Liam Smith, which has popped up quite a few times on socials, and you know, the fans seem to quite like that. At the end of the day, the belt is the priority, but we can't wait around for it. Eubank's going to be out twice still this year. So
if Canelo decides to take the Bivol rematch, is there a possibility it could be Golovkin?
It's got to be. I mean, you know, I've said before, commercially, there's no bigger fight outside the Canelo fight at middleweight apart from Golovkin. And I don't think anyone. Would you argue with me on that, Dan?
Not off the top of my head. Yeah, I'd have to think about it, but I think Canelo, Bivol, yeah. That's the biggest fight, yeah.
Right, so we're both in agreement on that. So, yeah, that's the one. Golovkin put out a piece recently where he said, no, he's not really interested in fighting Eubank. Fair enough, he'd already signed to fight Canelo. But Golovkin did, in the post-fight interview in the fight in Florida, in his fight before the Murata fight, he said 2 names, and one of them was Eubank Jr. So it's clearly on his mind, and I mean, he's he's fought in the UK before, but Eubank fight is stadium filler. Whatever stadium, pick it. Pick the stadium.
Anfield.
Tottenham.
You said pick the stadium. What do you want me to say? Do you think he'd be willing to take on Eubank as his next fight, knowing that a Canelo trilogy fight could still be on the line? I mean, it's a risky strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think, that third fight between the two of them, they could both make coming off a loss. I just think people want to see it. I don't think at that level you don't think like that. I don't think you look at it, I'd lose the payday or something like that. Nah, it's Triple G, Canelo, these Eubank. They're commercially very sound names, and I know people will say, "No, you're throwing in Eubank into the pot with Canelo and Triple G, and like, what the fuck has he ever fucking won?" I can imagine the comments now. I'm not talking about how many world titles they've won. We are aware. I'm talking commercially, and that's then I have a right to put them in one pot when I look from a UK perspective.
And before I let you go, I think there's a lot of people waiting to speak to you. Since the last time we spoke, MTK Global, which were a hugely influential management company in boxing for a long time, worked with all the major promoters, have now ceased to exist. I guess it's a twofold question. What are your thoughts on them not being around anymore? And also, what happens to all their fighters that are now without representation? Is it an opportunity or is it a disaster?
I mean, MTK got so big so quickly, and I think a lot of people. I feel very sorry for people, especially at the grassroots level. So it's still so fresh, and that, and everything surrounding it now. There's so much compliance and laws and things like this that one has to abide by. Which is it's a massive situation where you don't know where all these fighters are going to go, and you're talking about 150, 200 fighters. Yeah? And I'm guessing they're but roughly it must be around that. And there's a lot of talent there. I think one has to sit back and see how it settles. It came overnight. So it's something that you can't. Obviously, promoters, you can't not look at the opportunity of free agents coming on the market. Yeah, but at the same time, you have to monitor everything at the moment. I think that's the key.
Brilliant. KALLE SAUERLAND, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Dan.
Cheers, mate.